Hello. Welcome to the True Crime Lounge podcast. I have a YouTube channel that's also called True Crime Lounge. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook. And I have a merch shop that you can go and check out as well. Come help a girl out. Please subscribe to this podcast. Um, today on today's episode we're gonna continue our season on cases that changed the law. And with that being said, let's jump right into today's episode with Amber Hagerman and Amber's Law. So, how many of us know when a child goes missing, an Amber Alert is issued, right? So, what is the reasoning behind that? Well, an Amber Alert is issued because of Amber's Law. Amber's Law. And that is Amber's Law is a federal law that requires, among other things, life in prison without parole for a two-time sex offender whose victims are children. And so, who was Amber Hagerman? Well, she was nine. She was a 9-year-old girl, and she espoused the Amber Alert system after being abducted and murdered while riding her bike in Arlington, Texas, July 13th, 1996. This was 27 years ago. How she would have been what, guys? Let's see. How old would she have been? 27 plus 9. 36 years old today if she had lived. This is actually still a cold case because we do not know who killed her. And any insight would be helpful into solving this case. But let's talk about what happened. So on July 13th, 1996, 9-year-old Amber Hagerman took the pink bike she had just received for Christmas and went on a ride near her grandma's house in Arlington. But when she got to the lot of an abandoned Winn-Dixie store, a man in a black truck suddenly grabbed her. So 4 days later, Hagerman's naked and lifeless body was found in a local creek. Though Hagerman killer has never been found, the impact of her disappearance has resonated for decades as the inspiration behind the Amber Alert system, which has since saved hundreds of children's lives. And detectives believe that they'll finally be able to catch the man who murdered Amber. So, what about the kidnapping of Amber Hagerman? Well, born on November 25th, 1986, Amber Renee Hagerman was just nine short years on this earth. On July 13th, 1926, she and her 5-year-old brother Ricky went for a bike ride and which turned out to be Amber's last. Hagerman of Arlington, Texas was abducted while riding her bike that fateful day, and her unsolved murder 2 days later was inspired by the Amber Alert system. So, according to WFTV9, the siblings left their grandmother's house in Arlington, Texas around 3:10 p.m., where she was instructed to stay close. And Amber and Ricky never ventured more than 2/10 of a mile from her home. But when her family pedaled into the parking lot of a Winn-Dixie grocery store, Ricky decided to turn home, and she didn't see what happened to his sister. But Jimmy Cavill did. The 78-year-old watched as the little girl rode her bicycle in the parking lot. He watched as a black truck pulled up alongside her, as a dark-haired man in his 20s or 30s, who Cavill thought was white or Hispanic, got out. The kidnapper pulled up, jumped out, and grabbed her, Cavill, a former sheriff's deputy, told CBS Dallas Fort Worth. When she screamed, I figured the police ought to know, so I called them. In the aftermath, dozens of police officers and federal agents descended on Arlington to look for the missing girl. According to the New York Times, they paused their search for Amber only to take quick naps. But tragically, the 9-year-old was found dead 4 days later in a nearby creek. This is why the first 48 hours of a missing child's case is crucial. Um, Amber was totally bare except for a sock on her left foot. Former Arlington police detective Randy Lockhart, who went to this scene, told the Claiborne Rotary Club luncheon in 2021. We rolled over and I caught her head in my arms. Rolled over and I caught her head in my arms, several lacerations on her throat. A knife or a screwdriver had been used to rip her throat. So, how does the case of Amber Hagerman inspire the Amber Alert system? Well, as a member of the as the as the Hagerman family mourned their loss, how mourned their loss, a Texas mother named Simone had an idea. She called the local radio station and wondered about creating a national alert system for missing children. She said, I said, I can't get over this, child. There has to be something we can do, she told people in 2022. If Americans received alerts for weather and civil defense events, Simone thought, why wouldn't they be able to do this? Well, with that, the idea for the Amber Alert system was born. So what is Amber Alert? Well, here's a prime example. In 2018, well, in 2008, um, an example of Amber Alerts from June 2008. The Diane Simone's, I can't talk for some reason, Diane Simone's idea, which she called Amber's Plan, stuck. Broadcasters in the Dallas-Fort Worth area partnered with law enforcement to alert people of abducted children. Before long, the system was renamed Amber. That's in all caps. Um, America's Missing Broadcast Emergency Response Alert. The legacy of Amber Alerts today. Well, according to the Amber Alert website, the national system saved over 1,000 children since its launch in 1996. Amber Alerts also serve as deterrents to those who prey upon our children, the site asks. Amber Alerts cases have shown that some perpetrators release their abducted child after hearing about the Amber Alert. Here's how it works. Once law enforcement's determined if a case meets certain criteria, authorities notify broadcasters and state transportation agencies. Alerts interrupt programming that appears on a statewide transportation ad, shows up on billboards, and even arrives in text. As of 2015, Amber Alerts also started showing up on Facebook. Donna Williams, Amber Hagerman's mother, said that the alert system was named in memory of her daughter. It's bittersweet. In an interview in 2016, 20 years after her murder, she said, "There's another part of me that wonders what would have happened if we would have had the alert when Amber went missing. Could it have helped her?" Detectives may not be able to bring Hagerman back to her family, but they are still determined to find justice for who murdered this 9-year-old girl. Arlington Police Sergeant Grant Gilden told people that Amber's case is very much still active. "We continue to have ideas," he said. "A lot of people will refer to Amber's case, more commonly referred to as a cold case, but the Arlington Police Department is on the trail. Indeed, people are convinced that someone knows something about Amber Hagerman's kidnapping, and they haven't shared, and they're insistent that it's never too late." So Amber Hagerman's memorial. A mural is dedicated to the memory of Hagerman in Arlington, Texas, where she was kidnapped in 1996. If I ever get to Arlington, Texas, I want to go see this. Um, Owner hoped that someone in our community saw something maybe they didn't come forward 25 years ago out of fear of wanting to not get involved. Arlington Police Chief Kevin Colby said, according to WFT TV9, whatever reason, we need folks to search their minds and bring forward something that may be of value to our investigation. Investigators also disclosed that in 2021 they have DNA evidence that might belong to Amber's killer. Hopefully, with evidence like this or a new tip, police can finally solve Hagerman's kidnapping and bring justice to the 9-year-old whose death saved hundreds of other children. What do y'all think? Do y'all think if this alert would have been in the system, her death could have been prevented? Um, I'm curious. Let me know. But I will see y'all next time. Y'all have a great day.